I was asked to come and speak about leadership. Now, the very term to lead implies having a place to go or a way of being that currently doesn't exist. If everything's okay, if there's no need to go anywhere, you manage. You manage within existing boundaries and constraints. You use existing rules, existing regulations to produce a profit or to develop more efficiency. Now, up to a couple of years ago, there was a lot of requirement for management. Management was essential. In fact, since the Second World War, our quality of life has improved because we did improve process. We continually worked at how we went about making things, and we introduced all kinds of efficiencies. But what's happened as we progressed with this attachment to quality, this attachment to efficiency, is something's been lost in the process. We've lost a little bit of ourselves in our effort to produce efficiency. And when I say leadership, I want to draw a distinction between leadership and management. Management is planning, staffing, directing, controlling, all the things that positions are required to do to get together and produce results. You can take a management team, and the management team will produce a strategic plan. They'll set goals. It'll come down to the individual. Individuals will have position descriptions. The position descriptions will work together so that when it's laid out, the goals are produced and the results are produced. That's the assumption. But behind all of these positions, there are people. And it doesn't matter whether you're the chief executive officer, the receptionist, or the custodian. There's a person behind each one of those positions. And there's equal personhood. The persons are equal. The authority may be different. There's an entitlement that goes with being the CEO. There's an entitlement that goes with being the supervisor. There's an entitlement that goes with being a parent and a responsibility. You've got things you're being asked to do. But behind all of those positions is a person. And it's terribly important that the positions learn to work together as people as well as positions. Leadership is about will to win, the desire to belong, whereas management is about producing results, getting clarity, establishing processes, and working at creating efficiency. So there's the difference. Now, they work together. Management will always require 85% of your time, whether it's at home or at work. You've got to take the kids to the lacrosse match. You've got to organize their school. You've got to make sure the homework's done. There are all kinds of things you have to do as mom or dad in your parenting role. There are all kinds of things you have to do in the job that you have at work. But behind that, there's this little 5-year-old, the little 5-year-old that would just as easily moon Aunt Martha. It just has no respect, thinks, emotes, is just full of energy, full of enthusiasm, and will decide immediately whether there's a like or a dislike. So this little person is what creates the energy. And you've got to appeal to it. Let me give you an example. Let's say that this back wall was a corporate plan for a large organization. For example, Toshiba had me do one, and they had a huge big plan, and it was the international layout of their desktop unit. And you could go through all the bits and pieces. It was laid out. There were graphs, there were charts, there were numbers, and it made perfectly good sense. And all the adults in the room, all the positions, all the managers were sitting there as they went through it and going, yep, I can see it, And the objective was that the CEO wanted the positions to get the picture, to see what was in the game plan. Where are we going? What's our strategy? What do we want to have happen? But behind every one of those positions was a little 5-year-old with no respect. And looking up there and saying, I can't see me. I can't see me in that picture. Where am I? I'm worried. I wonder if I fit in. So even though the manager was getting the picture, there was a little 5-year-old that was a little uncertain about it all. See, that's because before the age of 5, you were conditioned by older brothers and sisters, by your parents, by your teachers, to be 12 to 1 negative. If you're average, you'll have 12 negative thoughts go through your mind before there'll be a positive one. They won't all be conscious. There'll be things go through your mind that just cause you to feel uneasy. For example, I remember one time, I think my daughter was about 17. She came home with a young man who had what looked like an 8-pound bowling ball hanging from his right ear. I turned around in the kitchen and looked at this person, and wow, my stomach just hit the floor. Now, I don't remember seeing a mental picture. I don't remember seeing anything happen, but my stomach did. Perhaps it was seeing a picture of me walking up the aisle towards this interesting person for the rest of my life. There was something going on. I was conditioned negative. So you're conditioned negative 12-1. Here's the problem. We have a space between our ears as a human being. We were born with a space between our ears. Now, my teachers referred to the empty space between my ears all the time. They thought they were demeaning me. Actually, it was a heck of a compliment. I mean, I now see it was a great compliment. They didn't mean it that way. I had an empty head. Well, that empty head fills with pictures of the future. Whether you like it or not, you have absolutely no control over it. You are a human being, and even if you are asleep, you will have pictures zooming through your head continually. Most of them you won't even be conscious of. It's just, I don't feel so good today. Why? You probably had a whole string of negative things go through your mind and you haven't even registered them. So if you leave it to your own device, you're going to have all kinds of boo-birds sitting on your shoulder. Your old Aunt Martha saying, "How come you're such a klutz?" My mother, for example, on Sunday around our home, my mother was terribly concerned that I would go out without my hair being combed properly. It was Sunday morning. It was my job to get out. It was her job to make sure I didn't get out with her checking. I really felt that my family's reputation was resting right on my shoulders. So what she'd do is, she'd literally almost use her knee to hold me while she adjusted my hair with her hands and say, "Don't go out looking like that. You'll scare the neighbors." And so here I am, well into my 50s. And I'm up here saying, "Oh, God, maybe it's not right." I mean, I should be happy that I still got some hair. But here I am with an old tape up there talking to me about it's not right. I'm conditioned to think that way. I can't comb my own hair. And I'll be 75 and I still won't get it right. My mom will still be there. Yap, 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 yap. You're not going to do, you can't do it. I've got to be here. What happens when she passes on? What am I going to do then? So you got all these negative thoughts. All these things going on all the time. And these pictures are floating through your head. You sit down at your business, and as managers, you produce a wonderful plan, and you spend a tremendous amount of time at it. One of the managers was telling me that you do some wonderful job planning for the community, and you go out and present it to them expecting the Hallelujah chorus, and all you get is the bums. What's going on? I mean, why would people not pay attention to a beautifully laid out plan? Guess what? It's the 5-year-olds. They don't care about the details of the plan. They care about other things. They care about whether they want to belong or not. They care about whether this is going to be fun or not. They care about whether they like this or not. So there's a tremendous necessity to be strategic about what goes into your head. If you sit down and you plan something to put between your ears, guess what? The boo-birds arrive and there's no room. What's going on? Aunt Martha has to leave. There's no place to go. There's no way to get hurt anymore. So have you ever lied awake at night, just there on your head on the pillow with something that's coming down, and you just can't get to sleep? It's yep, 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 and just this back and forth. It's just a continual chatter mind. Have you ever suffered from chatter mind, which is just negative, 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 and you just can't sleep? There's just so many questions and concerns and expressions going through your head. Well, that's because you have not put something strategic, positive, in place. If you had done that, the space would be full, and lo and behold, you'd be able to move.